Welcome, and today you join me for rounds 10, 11 and 12 of the BRSCC Mazda Championship. After 3 thrilling races at Cadwell Park, the championship moves from east to west to the undulating challenges of Oulton Park. Lyndsay is with championship contender Ollie Allwood.
Thanks, Lloyd. Yes, I'm stood here with Ollie Allwood, who started the season in championship form, but after a time at Snetterton's, sort of dropped off the map. However, he seems to be fighting back, so I'm going to hand it over to Ollie to see what he's got planned for this weekend. Ollie, what have you got going on?
Yeah, we had a bit of a tough qualifying. Unfortunately, the track was drying. Didn't make most of the track at the time. Messed up my last lap, so that was a bit unfortunate. So we're back here in 7th, but looking forward to the race. Drying track, I think we've actually got some good pace to get inside the top 5 and hopefully challenge for the podium. So looking forward to it.
Brilliant. So have you gone for a dry setup with the track drying up slightly?
Oh, I couldn't possibly tell you.
That's fantastic. Well, we will hand it over to Jake to run us through the rest of the grid.
Thanks, Lyndsay. Thanks, Lloyd. This is going to be a really interesting first of 3 races, and there's going to be so much to talk about here. Here is the grid. Sam Smith and Mike Comber on the front row from Michael Fisk and Will Blackwell-Chambers. Martin Tolley and Brian Trott with Ollie Allwood, as we've already mentioned, down in 7th on the 4th row alongside Teddy Clark. Behind them, John Langridge and Lewis Cannon. Could be worth a short punt. Jack Brewer and Charlie Burge with Ben Hansey, Paul Bateman, Marcus Bailey and Matthew Pollard in that midfield. And bringing up the rear, we've got Clive Poles and Jason Greatrex, Paul Tucker and Charlie Rawls. And then we have Bowden, Moody, Hayden and Mugglestone, all hoping they're not going to be in that last 5 that get demoted into the B group. 30-second board goes up. We're getting ready for race action, and this is going to be a good one. 5-second board now in operation, and it looks like it could be a very interesting battle with weather conditions changeable. Let's get a clean start. We are away and racing very, very shortly indeed. Away we go, and it's a cracking start. Not for Teddy Clark, though. He's breaking down from the 4th row, so Teddy Clark is going to have to pull off. But at the moment, it's Comber into the lead. Smith there in 2nd position, I think, although Blackwell-Chambers is trying to come right round the outside, having moved up past Michael Fisk into 3rd position. 3 cars wide into that first corner at Old Hall. A few of them going wide. Have we kept it all in a straight line? Yes, we have. No major drama as we go down the avenue. It's still those 3 once again breaking clear, just like Cadwell Park. Comer, Smith and Blackwell-Chambers as the rest of the field make their way through Cascades and down the Lakeside Straight for the first time. On board with Martin Tolley, that is the 94 beside us, Charlie Burge, and in comes the 140 Ben Hansey. A little bit of a nudge in the straight line there as they try and work their way through towards Island Bend. Flat on the throttle through there, get yourself lined up and turn in, brake sharp right for the Shell Oils corner. And at the moment, everything looks pretty neat and tidy. Not a chaotic start at all, and that's good because it obviously gives us a great battle in front of us. Drivers lining themselves up nicely. A couple of drivers going off initially at that Old Hall corner, but everybody keeping it together. That was very close for comfort. Goodness me. And that was the 18 of Clive Poles getting close and personal with Paul Tucker, the 22. And they were very close. Sorry, the 26, that is, of Charlie Rawls, actually. Sorry, Paul. It's not your style at all. I'm not saying it's Charlie's either, but that was a very easy mistake at a maker, unfortunately. Into the S's, and look, the top 3 have not broken as clear as they want to. Michael Fisk has tagged onto the back of them, so it's Comber, Smith, Blackwell-Chambers, stable through the exit. A little bit of curb to correct as you go down Lakeside. The leading battle still going strong. It's absolutely cats and dogs for 3rd position, and Blackwell-Chambers is having to move across because Sam Smith's getting hungry. He's obviously got a good exit out of Cascades. They go through Island Bend and up towards Shell Oils. Can he make it stick on the inside? He's going to have to work very hard indeed to get there, but he is one of those drivers who is very resolute in trying to make the pace up. So let's see if he can get there. On the far side, still working hard. Back on the power. Up towards Britain's chicane once again, and I think actually Blackwell-Chambers is starting to get away from Sam Smith. He can't afford a single mistake because that's where the Zardo-sponsored car, the 36, the MCR machine, is going to have a chance to pounce. But Blackwell-Chambers is definitely not safe and sound yet. He's got to hang on as the battle for 3rd position behind them still going strong as Trott is practically nailed to that inside line, then cuts back across to get the best line for Hislops into the right-hander, then into the left. No curb on the entry, a little bit needed on the exit. And as they come up Knickerbrook, I think it's stalemate in the battle for 3rd position. Still masses of smoke coming off the car. Goodness me, Oliver Allwood must be coughing and spluttering up the hill chasing after him. So here we go into the final couple of corners through Druids, and Blackwell-Chambers surely has this one now sorted. He really can't afford to make this mistake in front of Sam Smith. He's got the car nicely planted. He's clearly been looking after his tyres well despite the battle. And Sam Smith may have one last chance. He swarms about into the braking zone for Lodge, hoping that he can outfox Blackwell Chambers and get under his skin. He can't. He comes up Deerleaf. Thanks for the battle, Sam. He waves in his rearview mirror as the checkered flag is out, and Will Blackwell Chambers tastes the sweet joy of victory once again. Sam Smith in second. Mike Comber is just third as he has outfoxed Brian Trott, and so too has Ollie Allwood. Fisk didn't quite beat him across the line, but what an amazing last lap there as Trott falls from third to fifth after some spectacular racing on the last lap there. And there's battles all the way to the line, all the way down the field as Jack Brewer and Paul Tucker go side by side across the finish line as well. A stereotypical race from the Mazda MX-5 Championship. Plenty of action, lots to talk about. Blackwell Chambers beats Sam Smith over the line from Mike Comber in third position ahead of Oliver Allwood and Brian Trott. Fisk, Cannon, Langridge, Burge and Tolley round up the top 10, with Langridge taking fastest lap. Stephen Foden and Ben Hansey are next from Bateman and Tucker. Brewer, Bailey, Teddy Clark, who fought his way back in the end, Rawls, Poles and Pollard, who is the first of the drivers to be demoted, along with Hayden, Moody, Greytrex, and of course our retiree, Charles Muggleston. What a great first race of the weekend, though.
Well, that was an unbelievable race, some epic overtaking out there, and congratulations on your win.
No, thank you. Amazing conditions. It's nice and slippy out the backside of the circuit, so found a bit of pace out there, but no, it's nice to come through. It's great to have an MCR 1-2-3 again, but no, really satisfied with that win.
And that really strengthens your championship position.
Yeah, I think my main rival finished down in fourth, so to have that extra points back gap as well is really useful. I don't know who got fastest lap, but hopefully me.
I think it was John Langridge, but congratulations on your win.
Oh, perfect. Thanks very much.
Sam, well done. Started first, came second. What's going on?
Not a lot really, same old story really. Will's beat me again, but I started on pole. I got really good pace in the wet. Had really good pace yesterday in the dry. Had good pace then, just not quite enough to beat Will again. But one mistake I made, and he was at the inside, and I was just waiting for him to make a mistake, and he never did. So I can't help but feel disappointed, if I'm honest. But there's 2 races left, and I'm fast. So.
Mike, we always say that the MX-5 Championship is really close, but that finish couldn't have got much closer, and you had a little bit of smoke coming out of the car as well.
I know, yeah. From practice, from qualifying this morning, there were sort of signs that something isn't quite right. But it's such a tight schedule here. We had to sort of do what we can, get it out for the race, and just sort of assess it, see if we've improved it. And yeah, it was just it was leaking some oil, I believe, like from what they were saying behind me, that was leaking oil. Obviously, the smoke's behind me, so I didn't really realise. I could smell it, but I'm just glad it held on till the end.
Join us in the holding area for the 2A race in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship, and a testament to how close the racing is that anyone in the top 10 on the grid could realistically finish on the podium.
Yeah, you are completely right, Lloyd. It's not just the first, second and third. It's 10. It's anybody's game in this race. So what we have Ollie Allwood in P4, who was 7/10 of a second from P3. And then we've got John Langridge, who's in P8, who was the fastest in race 1A. So it really is anyone's game. But we're going to hand it over to Jake to take us through the rest of the grid.
Thank you, Lloyd and Lyndsay. Wow, much sunnier than the first race, so I think this one's going to be all about putting it to the absolute limit. Blackwell Chambers and Smith on the front row again from Comber and Allwood, Trott and Fisk on the third row from Lewis Cannon and John Langridge. Then, of course, in the midfield, it's going to be particularly exciting. Charlie Burge and Martin Tolley on that fifth row from Steve Foden and Ben Hansey, Paul Bateman and Paul Tucker, then Jack Brewer and Marcus Bailey. We've obviously got the 5 newbies joining Group A. Orange, Chisnell, Robinson, Hawkins and Ladoyan were the top 5 in Group B, and they join Teddy Clark, Charlie Rawls and Clive Poles towards the bitter end of the grid. But that just makes things very interesting to see how far up the order they can get in this second race of the A Group this weekend. 5-second board goes up on the Marshalls post, and we're getting ready for the start here at Oulton Park. It won't be long before these guys are charging towards Old Hall once again. Wait for it. Let's race at Oulton Park. Good start from the front already from Blackwell Chambers. Comber's trying to get alongside him, but Blackwell Chambers just trying to sort himself out on that inside line with Sam Smith, who has initially got just as good a start. On board with Martin Tolley as we go through Old Hall. People will be a little bit more confident through this first corner, so it could cause a few problems. And behind us, Ben Hansey went a little bit wide, and there's a big spin in the middle of the course. That is the 60 going around. Goodness me, that's Nick Ladoyan, and there's more trouble further up. That looks to me like 74 Clive Chisnell, I think, went for a bit of a pirouette. I could be wrong. That might actually have been the 19 Oliver Robinson. But an absolutely incredible start to this race as several of them have gone. Well, one of them is Alan Hawkins for definite, and it is Oliver Robertson, the 19, getting going again. Now, this could be another safety car, the second in as many races in the A group. as the drivers battle their way down towards the Shell Oils corner. We can only wait for the decision from the stewards as to whether we're going to get a safety car or not, but that's a very dangerous part of the circuit, of course, Old Hall. 3 of them going off. I think the only one who's still not moving is Alan Hawkins, the 722, but interestingly, it was Robinson, Hawkins and Ledoyen who all went off at Old Hall. They were the guys who finished 3rd, 4th and 5th in the first of the B Group races earlier on today. So a very exciting start, but how about this? We now have Blackwell Chambers having slipped down behind the 2 MCR cars. So Mike Coomber did eventually get himself into 2nd place. Very exciting stuff as they continue to battle away through to Hislop's and up towards Knickerbrook. That's the 42 of Paul Bateman, continuing his charge there. 67 of Simon Orange trying to move his way further forward. Oh, got a bit of a tank slap at that time. That's Martin Tolley on board once again as they charge forward. This is going to be a very interesting battle as the drivers continue to work together in formation through this fast part of the circuit. He's trying to get away from the cars behind and off the circuit. Goodness me, that's a scary place to go off in the try. And how on earth he has saved that one. My word. Steve Foden getting away with murder on that one. The back end coming out big style, and he was very lucky to walk away from that. Not only does he walk away from it, but he actually continues to keep going. Now, so far, no safety car call. So I wonder, did Alan Hawkins get the car out of the way, or has it been judged to be not too dangerous a position? We'll have to look as they come through. Oh, goodness me, Blackwell Chambers putting one wheel on the grass as they come through. Well, no dramas. I think they're okay, actually. I can't see Alan Hawkins' car there anymore, but it could just be the angle. So I think we're all right. I don't think we need a safety car after all. But Brian Trott moves to cover. He's still creating the move through on the inside. They bang wheels. Goodness me. You can't run it much closer than that. And Blackwell Chambers is now going to go for it again as their mirrors kiss as they go down the straight. Up on the inside, Blackwell Chambers gets 2nd position. He's been building up to that one for an entire lap, and now he's found his way through. But he's got to get straight back on the defensive as into the last lap goes Sam Smith. So I was right initially. We only have time for one more now. Blackwell Chambers still holding off Trott. Trott's going to come around the outside of Old Hall, and that's not an overtaking place unless you've got a lot more horsepower. And these cars are all absolutely identical. So Sam Smith hanging on to it in the lead of the race. No problems for him. He's been able to get clear exactly when he needed to. But the battlers behind are still going full guns blazing. Look at them. They're still squabbling all over the place at the moment as they continue this charge forward. Really exciting racing. Fantastic stuff and a great battle at the moment as they continue to work forward. So is this continue throughout? Into the Shell Oils hairpin. Some good racing still to come. And as they battle up, Sam Smith has got no pressure at all. He just needs to keep the car firmly planted in this last lap. Just keep the car exactly where it needs to be. Point it in the right direction. He's still pushing very hard though. Goodness me, the back end of the car wanting to come around at Britain's, but maybe that's just the way Sam Smith likes this car, slightly on the edge, because he seems to be dancing with it at the moment. He's very comfortable. Look at this squab of a 2nd place though. Trott and Blackwell Chambers still battling at it, and that's giving Oliver Allwood a chance to come through. And remember the last lap of the first race when Trott lost a couple of places, dropped from 2nd to 4th at the end of the last lap? Well, if that happens again this time, then both the championship battlers, Oliver Allwood and Will Blackwell Chambers, would see themselves on the podium, so there's still plenty to fight for there. But for this man, Sam Smith, it is all fine and gravy at the moment. Through Druids, back on the power and under Warwick Bridge. This has been an absolute rout for the leader, Sam Smith. And they're still squabbling for the 2nd position. That could end up getting quite tasty. Leaves Sam Smith to his victory dance as Allwood goes for Blackwell Chambers. He's on the grass. 2 wheels go there. Coomber's trying to find some space as well to overtake. Trott's married to that inside line, so there's no way through. Victory for Sam Smith, no problem at all there, but there's that run to the line for the last 3 as they battle for the 2 steps to the podium. Trott's going to be there. Blackwell Chambers hangs on for 3rd. 4th is Allwood, 5th is Coomber, 6th is Langridge, and 7th place is Michael Fisk. Wow, that was exhausting. What a great run to the flag. Smith takes the victory from Trott, Blackwell Chambers and Allwood, with Coomber watching every move they made. Langridge and Fisk in front of Clive Poles, Steve Foden and Ben Hansey. Fastest lap, Are you that surprised? It's Sam Smith, Charlie Burge, Martin Tolley, Jack Brewer, Paul Bateman and Simon Orange well into the top 20 with Cannon, Tucker, Clark and Rawls. And then it's the 5 who will get demoted, sadly. Bailey, Robinson, Ledoyen and our 2 retirements from the race, Clive Chisnell and Alan Hawkins. Great race from our winner.
Sam, this is a huge congratulations moment for you. You said you were going to do it and you did.
I know. I don't know if I didn't believe I was going to do it, but I got out front, managed the gap, and I beat the blue car. That's all I was bothered about. Didn't care where I finished. So, yeah, well happy with that. Really happy.
Brian, before the race, Lyndsay and I were saying that anyone in the top 10 could have finished on the podium, and wow, you made it look so easy.
It certainly wasn't easy. Starting from the 3rd row there was tough, and it's never easy to pass around here in the Mazdas. Such a quick track, so you've got to do all your moves under braking. Luckily, we were quicker yesterday in the dry in testing, and the sun's come back out, and we've managed it. So big thanks to Team Trot.
Change for you. Can you talk us through the race?
Yeah, same as always. We're lacking a little bit of straight line speed, which comes to bite me. Great race, to be honest. We're still happy with the podium. Great to keep bringing in the points. I tried to work with my teammate Mike Comber for the start of the race, and I think that might have slightly hindered me because I tried to work with him for a little bit too long. But we'll see what we can do in the final race of the day.
The cars are lining up, ready to go out for the final race in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship, and they go out in the order that they finished race 2A. That means Sam Smith is in pole position, but Will in 3rd. Is he looking just to consolidate his points from the weekend, Lyndsay?
I think that might be quite a good prediction, to be honest, because I know Will. I know he's in it for the long game. He's here to make sure he's not just going to be a one-time championship winner. He wants to prove a point and make sure that he's here to win a 2nd year in a row. But Jake, I'm going to hand it over to you to run us through the rest of the grid.
Thanks, Lloyd and Lyndsay, one more time. It's been an absolutely terrific race weekend so far. 2 different winners. Are we going to get a 3rd from the 3rd? Sam Smith and Brian Trott on the front row of the grid from Blackwell Chambers and Oliver Allwood. Mike Comber and John Langridge, Michael Fisk and Clive Poles in that top 10 as well. And rounding it out, Steve Foden and Ben Hansey. Burge and Tolley on the 6th row with Brewer and Bateman on the 7th. Then Simon Orange and Lewis Cannon in the 8th row of the starting grid. And rounding out the top 20, we've got Tucker and Clark with Rawls. And the winner of the B race, Callum Greatrex. Moody, Moggleston, Jason Greatrex and Jason Taylor are in the mix as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. But there's been a little bit more moisture added to the circuit, as you can see. It's a little bit damper than before, so this could be quite an interesting one. Lights are on, wait for it. Let's race at Oulton Park. Good start from the front. And a terrible start, in fact, for Charlie Burge. He's been completely swamped by the field. Absolutely appalling getaway from his point of view. The only person who's not going to make it by looks like Moody as they come through this time by. Skating around off the far side. Keep it on the black stuff, guys. We've had 2 very interesting incidents in the first 2 races at the start. It's a clean one this time, but Trott's going for the lead early. Smith is not going to let him have it, though. So as they all storm through, the Greatrexes look like they're getting on with it. That's Bateman, the 42. We're on board with John Langridge. That's Fisk. And on the inside of him is Comber. So Comber not had the best of getaways this time, but he is going to try and reassert himself back on the inside of Michael Fisk as they go through to the island bend. Sweeping through. Looks clean and tidy for the moment. Tucker trying to hang on there. Cool, that was close as the 96 gets a great opportunity on the inside line there to try and make a move. Hasn't quite been able to. Oh, Jason Greatrex though, coming around the outside. And that's Teddy Clark off in the background. Teddy Clark has gone off in the background. Well, that's definitely not where he wanted to put the car. So, very exciting stuff, but clearly not really the game plan as far as they were concerned there for Teddy Clark. He didn't really want to be in that particular position, but he's fought back from it as best as he possibly can. They come back off the turn. But, well, that got particularly interesting particularly quickly, didn't it? As they all started to bally away for positions. That's Ben Hansey as he battles away with the 43 of Lewis Cannon once again. Cannon always seems to be in a very odd part of the circuit. He's been up and down like a pendulum all the way through the weekend, but he's now back towards the sharp end once again. Meanwhile, Smith is definitely not getting away from the chasing pack. Oh, and that's an off! That's Callum Greatrex! So Callum Greatrex has gone into the wall there. It got a little bit too hectic at the exit of Knickerbrook, and somebody had to get spat out into the drink, and unfortunately hitting the barriers this time was Callum Greatrex, having just made his way out of the B group. That is a very painful defeat in this race. That's quite a hard hit he took as well, so I have a feeling that's going to be mechanical damage that ends his weekend, I'm afraid. So they come up and over the crest at D-Elite once again. This is going to get interesting once more, isn't it? As we're on board with Charlie Burge, he's making a bit of a comeback. That's Charlie Rawls, the 26 he's got past. and Teddy Clark is in behind him. So they come over the line at the end of the first lap. Here comes Clark, up the inside, and he's going to brake very late indeed. But that's nicely done, and actually, we're struggling to keep in front of Teddy Clark with that sort of pace. Here comes Rawls. Oh, Teddy Clark shut the door there a little bit too gingerly, I think, for my liking. Goodness me. Squeezed him out big style to the inside line. Oh, running out of space, and he knows it. He's going to have to push ever so hard to get through on that inside line. Can he get there? Can he get there? This is so tough. Needs to make a move on the inside of Britons. He needs to get this done sooner rather than later. He's running out of opportunities. But Sam Smith is not being intimidated. Back over Hilltop. Now Blackwell Chambers has made an overtaking move aplenty here before, and Sam Smith knows it. He moves across the cover. He knows that Blackwell Chambers isn't that close to him. Certainly not to throw it up the inside of Hislops. Maybe if he gets a good line out of Knickerbrook, he can fire one into Druids. Here he goes. He's very close to him this time, but Sam Smith hanging on. One of these guys is going to pick up a second victory, or it's all going to go pear-shaped. Up and over the curbs again, past the water tower. We're on board with Langridge, who's now in front of Trott. He's stolen third. You've been so busy watching the leaders. Langridge is into third position in front of Brian Trott. So those two are going to get the third and fourth positions in this race. So Langridge is going to snatch the podium unless Trott can get him back on the last lap. Sam Smith is doing everything he can to block Will Blackwell Chambers off, and I think he's done enough. Held onto the inside line there. On the exit, though, it could get interesting. Back on the power, side by side over the line, but it is going to be Sam Smith. He does get there in front of Will Blackwell Chambers, only just. And Langridge hangs on for third in front of Trott, and Mike Comber in fifth position. Oh, that was terrific racing. Clean as a whistle between Sam Smith and Will Blackwell Chambers, but ruthless to the last. Poles comes home in front of Fisk with Martin Tolley, Lewis Cannon, and the rest of the field in the mix there as well. But it's 2 out of 3 for Sam Smith this weekend in front of Blackwell Chambers by .044. Langridge in third from Trott, Comber and Poles. Fisk, Tolley, Cannon and Brewer rounding up the top 10. Fastest lap this time goes to Blackwell Chambers. Bateman in 11th from Jason Greatrex and Ben Hansey. Then it's Simon Orange, Paul Tucker, Burge, Allwood, Rawls, Moody and Taylor. So Allwood almost not in the top 20. And then Muggleston in front of our retirements of Foden, Teddy Clark and Callum Greatrex. Thrilling action here at Oulton Park again.
2 out of 2, Sam. Is this what we're here to expect from the rest of the season?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I feel like I've got some confidence back now. The car's working really well. MCR did a great job. My car had a few gremlins that we didn't realise we had. So coming into this race, Mike did a sterling job of setting the tracking up for me. And it's just from session 1, it's just been a different car. So all credit to him, really.
Will, 0.4 of a second. Would you had him if you gave it one more lap?
I would have given it a go. I think we had a good run into the first corner, but no. Great to have another MCR 1-2. The car's been absolutely fantastic all weekend. It's a great result for MCR Motorsport. But yeah, great points haul. Really happy with the weekend. Yeah, perfect weekend overall.
John, congratulations. Another podium off the back of Cadwell Park. It's almost as if you're finding your feet with this car, finally.
Yeah, really pleased, especially this weekend to do it. We've got a couple of sponsors of Fresh Cold here, so fantastic weekend to do it. The car's been mega. I came close in the first race but made a bit of an error, but that one just all fell nicely for me.